let's say hypothetically, the managers and employees who were not necessarily key people because it was a sole proprietor wanted to keep their jobs and potentially try to take over that business. Is there a way that that can legally happen if they go through the process of, or would that make it a new license?
Transfer of ownership.
And so that business would be out of business until they could start a new license?
Unless it was operating pursuant to a court order.
Okay, so if hypothetically my parents who are conservative Christians and don't appreciate this business at all, and I'm dead, and they come in and they have control over it, they're not going to be a vested interest in this, but I would really like to see my employees be able to go forward. I've taken the time to teach them my intellectual property. There's patients out there that are depending on these products, so obviously, there's a lot of gray area here that this doesn't really cover.
Yeah, but again, we can't lose sight of what the statute requires, and I can't change the statute.
Right, I agree. And that suggests to me you better have an entity, not a partnership, not a sole proprietorship.
Oh, clearly, and I think the lion's share of them are all LLCs anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm an
Do we have any sole proprietors that you know of?
But you can have a single number LLC.
That's
Of
what
course, but that's an LLC still, yeah. I don't believe we have any, I could be wrong, but.
Yeah, but if the single member passes away, I think by statute it has to be
That's what I'm
dissolved.
saying.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Kevin.
The rule itself doesn't mention anything about the prior approval, but it clearly obviously does in the statute itself. Is that something that needs to be restated in the rule at all?
We can certainly reference it.
Don't want to add words if we don't have to, but.
Matt, what's the thought of actually taking that, saying that every time is adding just a reference rule within the statute under each rule?
I'm sorry.
What's the possibility of adding a reference to the statute within each rule, taking that same idea?
That's actually what the statement of basis and purpose does.
Okay, so
Yeah, it has the statutes in it. It may not have all of them where it pertains, but it gives you a basic foundation.
gotcha.
Norton, would you have something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think side with Mr. Gill here on the drafting of this particular rule. It seems to me that the intent is to fill the statutory mandate of determining suitability for the particular transferee. So it's not necessarily a new license that goes through the same, that goes through the original and sort of longer suitability determination, but rather it's an existing license that's being transferred. So could there be perhaps some sort of expedited process on this particular point where it's not really a matter of 30 days, it's a matter of determining suitability for the proposed transferee of the business. That's ultimately what the statute dictates.
And I think we're saying the same thing, right? Yeah. Bob, if you wouldn't mind? Okay.
And Matt, the last point, getting back to Bob, what you said in the beginning about the temporary license, is that adverse to the statutory of what the situation is? So
Yeah, I would be candid, my very first draft actually acknowledged the existence of temporary licenses, and the General Assembly removed that.
But they allow for alcohol.
Did you have a question, Barb?
What about the idea of the responsibility of the agency to get back to those applying within some kind of time frame? Obviously, you're saying the holdup is to get that background information back, but at least even with the bill and applying, we have till July 1st, and then licenses will be issued. So relative to this idea of transfer of ownership, specifically in non-emergent situations, what can someone applying expect for a fair turnaround or kind of reciprocation from?
Yeah, and that's the issue I struggle with. Again, I don't want to put anybody in a corner and say you have to do this because some are easier than others. But keep in mind, too, a true transfer of ownership, we're not talking about internal changes to an entity. If the licensee survives the change, an LLC has internal changes of its members, that's not a transfer of ownership. That's an internal change that can be reported and approved. Transfer of ownership is a new owner, new entity. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a time, if as business owners we're waiting on answers and there's no set protocol of what we can anticipate for getting information back because there's no outline to that for someone, you know, getting involved in this business with no background, and for them, as an investor, or as someone to say, okay, how long is this gonna take, with no idea, because it hasn't been done, because it's new, what's a fair representation of what we can assume?
Yeah, perhaps we do something in terms of a recommendation, recommended timeframe, something like that. Okay, thank you. Other comments?